I'll just quickly run through the schedule for the day. I request all the brothers to have a look. Alhamdulillah, the International Dawah Training Program conceived, developed, conducted by Dr. Zakir Naik. The second day of this 45 days course, Sunday, 17th of January, 2016, Mumbai, India. The theme for the day is Introduction to Da'wah. Alhamdulillah, today we were on time or before time? Alhamdulillah, we were before time today, mashallah. We are 5 minutes early. So Alhamdulillah, I pray to Allah that this good trend continues for the rest of the days, inshallah. So the first session, 8 o'clock to 8:20, we just had the recap of the first day of the International Dawah Training Program for 20 minutes, 8:20 a.m. to 8:25 a.m. I'm reading out the schedule for you for 5 minutes. From 8:25 a.m., Dr. Zakir Naik would come on the stage, inshallah, and we will have a very important and very interesting session on material to be referred for knowledge of Islam. And this session is going to be for 1 hour, 50 minutes until we go for the tea break. 10:15 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. we have the first tea break. Then after the tea break of 30 minutes, the second session, 10:45 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Again, Dr. Zakir Naik would give us his inputs on meaning and forms of dawah. Meaning and forms of dawah, which is for 1 hour. It's a 1 hour session, followed immediately by a half an hour, a 30-minute session for the question and answer. So if you have any questions to ask on the topic meaning and forms of dawah, then you can keep it for that half an hour, inshallah. Then from 12:15 p.m. to 12:45 p.m., there is the talk on the topic characteristics of a da'i, which was told to you yesterday, followed by a question and answer session, and inshallah, I would be taking that lecture, inshallah, a 30 minutes lecture with 15 minutes question and answer session. Then we break for our Zohr Salah at 1 p.m. for 15 minutes. Then 1:15 to 2:15, we have the lunch break, as well as time for you all to prepare for your speech today, your first prepared speech of this International Dawah Training Program. I wish you all the best. May Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala help you to retain whatever you have learned of this speech. And inshallah, you should be lesser nervous today because you have already had the experience of this stage, inshallah. This 3-minute prepared speech is the third session for 2 hours, which will be monitored, scrutinized and evaluated by Dr. Zakir Naik. A 3-minute prepared talk by each participant. This will be for 2 hours. And then we will break at 4:15 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. for the Asr Salah. Then 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. we have the tea break along with the reality TV show, inshallah, which we will inshallah discuss in the next time in the recap. And we have in the fourth session, 5 p.m. to 5:15 p.m., a 15-minute short session on what are the techniques of giving references from the Quran. Many people think that, how does Dr. Zakir Naik come up with such references? Is it a human brain or computer? So inshallah, you would know today in the evening, what is it all about. 5:15 p.m. to 6 p.m., we have the cross-checking of the names with meanings of only the first 25 surahs of the Quran, which we believe, inshallah, every one of you is thoroughly prepared. And inshallah, let's see who's going to be the best. And this is going to be taken by Dr. Zakir Naik for 45 minutes. And lastly, we have at 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. a revision of the Quranic verses with translation, helpful for dawah. So with translation clearly suggests that you should also know the Arabic part of it, inshallah. So that would be taken by me, inshallah, for 30 minutes. And inshallah, we hope to conclude it on time, 6:30 p.m., the conclusion, followed by Maghrib Salah. Jazakallahu khairan. Without wasting much time, I would like to invite Dr. Zakir Naik to come on the stage and start with the session on material to be referred for the knowledge of Islam. Dr. Zakir Naik.
Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Amma ba'd. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi zidni ilma. Rabbi shali sadri. Wassir li amri. Wahlul 'uqdat min lisani yafqahu qawli. I welcome all of you with Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on all of you. Now, we will be doing a session, material to be referred for the knowledge of Islam. And as I mentioned yesterday, that yesterday was just talking about the rules and regulations, talking about the objectives, and due to time limitation, yesterday we could not do one session. That's Introduction of Islam, which I did cover part of it in my other sessions. But if time permits today, we will at least spend half an hour on it, if not more, inshallah. As I mentioned that tomorrow, or rather day after tomorrow, the third day of the training program, would be really the beginning of the techniques as it's mentioned in the schedule. And there you will come to know the technique, the structure, etc. And though I mentioned yesterday that this training program would not be concentrating on the knowledge of Islam, though basic knowledge required for basic level of dawah would be given in this training program, inshallah. Today, we'll be dealing on the other aspects besides the hardcore technique, etc. And the first session deals with material to be referred for the knowledge of Islam. At the beginning of the session, I would like to make it very clear to all of you that the books that would be mentioned today, all of them need not be authentic. And when yesterday Mr. Kamruddin said that can we use the notes, so then I thought, okay, fine, then I have to make a mention also. So I would like you to mention in your notes below, which time did not permit me today morning to revise it, mention NB there on the notes itself, on the bottom of the page, that all the books mentioned need not be authentic. NB, all the books mentioned in the list need not be authentic. Need not doesn't mean it is not authentic, but all need not be. The first, and again this is a point form note, and while I'm speaking, I made it easy for you. If I keep on mentioning names and if you have to write, you will not be able to cope with me. Therefore, I have given you easy. Correct? So I've tried to make the workshop easy for you, not to make life easy for you, so that I could squeeze your effort in the techniques and the other things rather than writing down the notes. The first section deals with English translation of the glorious Quran. And all of us know very well, without doubt, the best source of knowledge, the most authentic source of knowledge in Islam is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the glorious Quran. The first section deals with English translation of the Quran, and you can see it is mentioned at the bottom NB. Since translations of the Quran is the work of a human being, each and every translation has mistakes. I don't know of a single translation in the world which does not have mistakes. The only work which is infallible is the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, the above translations have been mentioned taking into consideration the positive points and not the mistakes. Let me be very clear that translations 100% have mistakes, but most of them have more positive points than negative points. Some of them even have more negative than positive. But the positive points are so rare, not available anywhere else, so I've mentioned it here. Don't think that just because Zakir Naik has given all these lists, that means this list is 100% correct. A Dai always has to do research whether what he's speaking is authentic. Is it correct? And I'll be dealing in more detail during the structure and content, that whenever you hear any matter from anyone, including myself, it's best to check it up. The reason of checking is that you are reconfirming it's there. Yes, anyone can make a mistake. If there's a mistake, it is rectified. And secondly, you yourself check from the source So you can delete one Ravi, one narrator. Lesser the narrators, the thing becomes more authentic. Correct? Which we shall discuss if time permits. So you have given a list of translations, and as I mentioned that all translations are mistakes. But seeing all the negative and positive factors amongst all the translations, each one has its own preferences. And each translation will have its own positive and negative points. The one that I personally prefer amongst all the translations is the Holy Quran, text translation and commentary by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. And I'm aware that there are many errors in it. And if you try and do a research, you will find many people who have pointed out mistakes. Point number one, anything which is famous or any personality which is famous, irrespective which field he belongs to, you will find that people try to take out mistakes. It may be right, it may be wrong. Why? If you take out mistakes in a very famous book or about a very famous personality, they think, okay, they get famous. That's one of the reasons. Sometimes it may be that because he's famous, we don't want wrong things to be promoted, so they start splitting hairs. So many a times you find anything which is very popular, people try and scrutinize it with a microscope, and every human being has got mistakes. So if you look under the microscope, there is no human being who's free from error. So because Abdullah Yusuf Ali is the most popular amongst all the English translations, until recently, in the past 10-15 years, many and several new translations have come out. 15 years or maybe 20 years. But amongst the early ones, this I feel is the best. And maybe I got used to it, so I'm sticking to it. Again, I'm not saying that it is the best English translation available. For me, why? Because once a person gets used to it, until you give me something which is really multiple times more beneficial, I may change. Because when a person reads, he's used to reading a particular pattern. He realizes that this matter is on the left side of the page, this matter is on the bottom of the page. It goes into your photographic memory. So when I'm searching for something, if I don't know, I know it is there on this part. So if I change, unless there is something really more beneficial, multiple times more, I will change. So far I have not come across the translation which is multiple times more beneficial than Abdullah Yusuf Ali for me as a Dai. Seeing all the pros and cons, yet I personally prefer and recommend Abdullah Yusuf Ali because, number one, that it has a variety of good things. Many tafasir or translations, they are specialized in one particular aspect. Overall, particularly Abdullah Yusuf Ali. Why? Because it is good to present to a non-Muslim. Certain translations are specifically meant only for Muslims. And we'll come to it later on when I speak about it. This translation as a whole, with all its pros and negatives, I feel it is, alhamdulillah, one of the best available.
لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله محمد رسول الله أرجو رضاك يا الله أنت الرحيم يا الله هبني عطاك يا الله أنت الكريم منك العطاء يا أنت العظيم يا الله فيك الرجاء يا الله أنت الحليم الرحمن الستار ملك الملك الغفار الوهاب المنان المتعال الرحمن الستار ملك الملك الغفار الوهاب المنان المتعال الرحمن الستار ملك الملك الغفار الوهاب المنان